Alright, so I'm going to erase so I can finish, but I'm going to, now that I'm satisfied that this equation is legitimate, then I'm going to rewrite it up here in algebraic form without the dollar signs. So this is 2.75h plus 1.25d equals to 1109.25. Alright, so let me erase this. And now we turn to the, actually this is the part that most people get right. Whatever equation they come up with, most people do a pretty good job of solving it. And the problem is if you write the wrong equations, then it doesn't matter how good you are at solving it. It's because you're solving the wrong equations. So here we go, and a system of two equations, simultaneous equations. Now, there's a lot of ways to do these, and one thing we could do is to try to eliminate, let's say, d. I could multiply this equation by negative 1.25. It's perfectly fine. I'm looking at this, and I see 75 cents, 25 cents, 25 cents. If I multiply that equation by 4, wouldn't I get rid of the decimals? So I'm going to do that. It's just my way of simplifying the problem. So I'm going to multiply the second equation by 4. And 4 times $2.75 is $11. It's 11. So I have 11h plus 5d. Oops, telephone. Time out. Time out. Okay, I'm back. That was my daughter calling me. She needed to be picked up from work. Okay, so let's finish this problem. And I've got 11h plus 5d. And over here, when I multiply by 4, this becomes 4,437. So I have now two equations without any decimals in it. And that is not really that necessary. You must understand that I grew up in a pre-calculator world, and so I like to do little things that allow me to avoid calculators when possible. And now I have h plus d and 11h plus 5d. How about we eliminate the d? I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 5. And so this gives us, down here, negative 5h minus 5d equals negative 3,045. Okay, so I always like to mentally check these, make sure my arithmetic's correct, and I believe it is. And if it's wrong, I'll just redo the video and you won't know about it, will you? Mm-hmm. So 11h minus 5h is 6h. And the d's cancel. Over here, we get, what would this be? 1,000 and, oh boy, 392. I think that's correct. And so 6h equals 1,392 divided by 6. And h would be, 6 goes in here, 200. And 232 times. All right, so that means we sold 232 hamburgers. Now, if h is 232, then what's d going to be? D would be the 609 total items minus the 232 hamburgers. And so d would be, let's see, what does that be? 377. So I have answers. So am I done? No, we're not done, because we haven't written the answer yet. We haven't communicated the answer. So that's another thing I'm a stickler for. I want you to communicate the answer to me in plain English, using good English, complete sentence. Capitalize the first letter, put a period at the end, and let's communicate that answer. So I do need to to do some erasing, however, to do this. So I'll erase up here. Normally would write below here. So they sold what, 232 hamburgers and 377 soft drinks. So that's the answer. And again, notice I capitalized the first letter of the sentence, and I put a period at the end, and I will count off if you don't do those things. So please be mindful of proper English, because bad English reflects badly on you in the professional world. So now is as good a time as any to begin to get in the habit of using good English to communicate with. It doesn't just count in English classes. All right, I know this firsthand from working in the real world. All right, now I'm not quite done, because now I want to check this answer. So here's the other thing you can do to make sure you're doing well. If you want to be excellent at what you do, then let's check the answers. Now, the checking will reveal if you've made some careless errors of some sort, of some nature. So how do you check an answer? Well, in these problems, in word problems, you don't go to the equations to check your answers. The equations I had set up, you know, the h plus d equals 609 and the other equation, it's possible I solved them correctly, but that they're the wrong equations. And so checking correct answers to wrong equations would be fooling ourselves, wouldn't it? Doesn't make sense. So the correct way, the accurate way to check your answer is to go to the words of the problem to make sure this information fits the words of the problem. So we'll check that out. Did they sell 609 items? All right, so 232 plus 377 is 609. So they sold 609 items. That part checks out. How much money did they make? Well, each hamburger was $2.75 each, and let me do this down here, I'm sorry. Each hamburger was $2.75, and they sold 232 hamburgers. Now I've left out the units here. This is per hamburger times hamburgers. Hamburgers cancel. And that was, I think I will use a calculator for this one. $638. This is from hamburgers. And the soft drinks were $1.25 a piece. And they sold 377 of them. So that's $471.25, and that was from the drinks. I'm writing these in parentheses because, just for the purpose of the video, the checking is for your benefit, not for mine. Okay, as the person grading your papers. And so I wouldn't worry too much about putting directions on your check. All right, so what does that add up to? $1,109.25, and that was the correct number. So our answer must be correct because it satisfied both parts of the original problem.